Hello, I'm Robert Lovie, and today we're on the banks of the River Deveron at Macduff Distillery, where the Deveron single Highland malt whisky is produced. Later we will be visiting the harbours at Macduff and Banff at the mouth of the river, Duff House and the picturesque Bridge of Alva, a mile or two upstream from here. Whether you are Scottish or not, all over the world, blood is stirred by the sound of the pipes and drums. So let's go across the river now to Duff House and see the pipers and drummers of the Turriff and District Pipe Band, led by Pipe Major Bill Hepburn. Duff House was designed by the famous architect William Adam in 1735 for William Duff, who later became the first Earl of Fife. It has had many uses over the centuries, and a recent project has restored it to its former glory, and it is now the premier outstation for the National Galleries of Scotland. Against this magnificent backdrop, Turriff and District Pipe Band will play one of the most popular tunes of recent years, Highland Cathedral, followed by another new tune, Sandy's New Chanter, composed by Pipe Major Tom McAllister Jr. tunes played were Farewell to the Creeks by Pipe Major James Robertson from Banff. He composed that very stirring tune when he was stationed in Limerick in 1919 in memory of the creeks and inlets around his native Banffshire coast. Words were written later to the tune by Hamish Henderson for a song which he called The Banks of Sicily. The second tune is another famous pipe march, Leaving Portaskey, composed by Pipe Major Willie Ross of the Scots Guards. Graham Geddes from Aberdeen is one of Scotland's most accomplished accordion players. Graham is here today to play for us three fine tunes to set your feet tapping: Vancouver, The Diddler and Hugh MacDonald. That was a beautiful haunting melody played by Graham called Carry On. But now for something completely different, as they say. I would like to tell you the story of Granny Fraser's Flittin' fae Abine to Aberdeen, written by the late Hector Nichol. It was on a Monday morning, you will not mind the scene, when Granny Fraser flitted fae Abine to Aberdeen. The village folk they ottered out to see her on the road. The horse it wouldn't puy on Kert, you should have seen the Lord. There were armchairs, back chairs, rocking chairs as well, ladles, cradles, a pram without a wheel, wooden shawls, mothballs, jelly pans and jars, and ground and ear collapse beneath my granny's chest of drawers. Glue pots, stew pots, bonny wally dogs, wee pots, tea pots, granny's china jugs, flower pots, what not, you ken the kind I mean, at Granny Fraser's Flittin' fae Abine to Aberdeen. Now Tom McNabb the bobby, he called for volunteers. It was the first time that he'd in his jacket off for years. To get the donkey moving, every man did play his part. But halfway up the bloomin' street, the wheel came off the cart. There were bath towels and amel balls lying in the street, lace frocks, alarm clocks lying them in their feet, golf clubs, washing tubs littered in the lane, and Grandest New Year bottle it could run in down the drain. Furry Dodds, fur coats mixed up into glore, long gear, headgear, fae the Zulu war, tacked bricks and antiques for 1817, at Granny Fraser's Flittin' fae Abine to Aberdeen. Now the village blacksmith Geordie Brown, he weighed near 20 stone. He lifted up the cart himself and put the wheel back on. They got the load securely tied amid the scoffs and jeers, and fin the cart get down the road, it got 3 rousing cheers. There were all spot style hot sounds for the day, all clays, all trash you wouldn't throw away. 4 mugs and cough drugs for Granny's wheezy chest, and a bottle of the nifty stuff that Granny liked it best. Plus 4 lawnmowers tied up with a rope, and all flag some lad tied upon the top, but on the tailboard on court looking like a queen was Granny Fraser sitting on the road to Aberdeen. Was Granny Fraser sitting on the road to Aberdeen. Paul Anderson took up playing the fiddle at an early age and has developed into one of the best fiddlers of the present day. Paul is going to play a tune which is very appropriate to this locality and which is very much associated with the town of Banff, Macpherson's Lament. Robert Burns wrote the words of Macpherson's Rant, which told the story of the notorious outlaw James Macpherson, who was hanged in Banff in the year 1700. Macpherson was also a great fiddler, and legend has it that before he met his death on the gallows, he broke his fiddle so that no other man could play it when he was dead and gone. Another reminder of James Macpherson dominates the skyline at Macduff in the shape of the clock tower of the Dúncaach. The tower has 4 faces, one of which is blank. This face looks towards Banff and marks the anger felt by the people of Macduff when the townsfolk of Banff advanced their clocks to bring forward the execution of the outlaw James Macpherson, in order that he could not be pardoned at the last minute. The empty clock face is meant to ensure that the folk of Banff never again know the correct time. The selection of tunes played by Paul were Dumbarton Castle, followed by Cregellachie Brig and The Left-Handed Fiddler by James Scott Skinner, who composed the tune for his father, who played the left-handed fiddle after he lost some fingers in a shooting accident. The Bridge of Alva was built in 1772 and stands some 60 feet above the River Devon. It spans a craggy gorge through which the river makes its way out to the sea at Banff and Macduff. In this beautiful setting, the pipers and drummers of the Turriffin District Pipe Band will play three old Scottish favourites, Rowan Tree, Bonnie Gallowa and the Old Rustic Bridge. The Hebburn family of Turriff are very well known in the piping world for keeping the piping tradition alive in the northeast of Scotland. Bill Hebburn Sr. succeeded his father George as pipe major of the Turriff and District Pipe Band. Here his son Billy joins him as they play a new tune composed by Bill himself as a tribute to one of Scotland's finest malt whiskies, the spirit of Glen Deveron. The great days when the fishing ports along the north and northeast coasts of Scotland were crammed full of boats and activity are long since gone. But the words of this song will bring back memories to the older generation, the trawler song.
We're heading for home with the pride of the sea. The lighthouse is flashing a welcome to me. Seagulls are wheeling, the headlands in sight, and trawlers are turning homeward tonight. To Scrabster and Malik by Orkney and Skye, to Wick and to Bucky we catches piled high. From harbours at Lerwick and fair Aberdeen, to the arms of my love, my ain bonny Jean. Names I have heard since we last saw the quay, Ben Louis, Ben Mora and Bonnie Strathee, now bound for shore in fast fading light, for trawlers are turning homeward tonight. To Scrabster and Malik by Orkney and Skye, to Wick and to Bucky we catches piled high. From harbours and Lerwick and fair Aberdeen, to the arms of my love, my ain bonny Jean. To Scrabster and Malik by Orkney and Skye, to Wick and to Bucky we catches piled high. From harbours at Lerwick and fair Aberdeen, to the arms of my love, my ain bonny Jean. Horses are breaking, we're racing the tide. Look yonder the township where fisher folk bide. Soon I'll be with her and holding her tight, for trawlers are turning homeward tonight. To Scrabster and Malik by Orkney and Skye, to Wick and to Bucky we catches piled high. From harbours at Lerwick and fair Aberdeen, to the arms of my love, my ain bonny Jean. To the arms of my love, my ain bonny Jean.
In the late 19th century and in the early days of this century, the herring industry was at its height. Throughout its decline in the years that followed, even after the Second World War, boats would still be landing substantial catches in ports such as Wick, Macduff and Aberdeen. When the herring catches were landed, they were known as the Silver Darlings.
Herrings at harvest that fishermen gleam, where flashes the silver through dark ocean green. But when herring harvest reach old Aberdeen, they're known as the Silver Darlings, Silver Darlings on Aberdeen Quay, brought by the fishermen home from the sea to the city that stands between the dawn and the day, the home of the Silver Darling. The boats leave the harbour, their wakes spreading wide, and empty they roll with a swell of the tide. Oh, soon may their hatches be thrown open wide for the catch of the Silver Darlings, Silver Darlings on Aberdeen Quay, brought by the fishermen home from the sea to the city that stands between the dawn and the day, the home of the Silver Darling. With ice in the rigging and death down below, the gale screaming wild and the glass hanging low, the wives and the widows are the women who know the price of the Silver Darlings, Silver Darlings on Aberdeen Quay, brought by the fishermen home from the sea to the city that stands between the dawn and the day, the home of the Silver Darlings, Silver Darlings on Aberdeen Quay, brought by the fishermen home from the sea to the city that stands between the dawn and the day, the home of the Silver Darlings, the home of the Silver Darlings. The time has passed so quickly, and the music's almost done. Ere the fiddler and the piper, the singer and the song, the time has come for us to leave you. One more song before we go. Say button up and I be cheery, and tack a drum before you go. Say button up and I be cheery, and tack a drum before you go. Oh, this night we will remember, for the music's been just fine. But the cold grey land of Buchan can be cruel and unkind. So we must bid farewell island leave you, travel through the ice and snow. Say button up and I be cheery, and tack a drum before you go. Say button up and I be cheery, and tack a drum before you go. So good night, and God go with you, and watch over you until we can all meet here together, and where glasses we will fill. We will drink a toast to absent friends, and let the beer and whiskey flow. Say button up and I be cheery, and tack a drum before you go. Say button up and I be cheery, and tack a drum before you go. Say button up and I be cheery, and tack a drum before you go.
We have with us today 3 bonny lasses from the Bobby Watson Dancers. Alison, Gail and Suzanne are going to dance for us the tribute to J.L. Mackenzie, one of the greatest Highland dancers of all times. The tune is Long of All, played on the pipes by Pipe Major Bill Hepburn. The dance you are now going to see is called O'er the Water to Charlie, and gets its name from the toast to the Young Pretender, which was popular with the Jacobites after their defeat in Culloden Moor in 1746. I hope you've enjoyed being with us today on the banks of the Deveron, and we bid you farewell with the sound of the pipes and drums of the Turf and District Pipe Band, marching to the tunes of Dr. Ross's 50th Welcome to the Argyllshire Gathering, written by Pipe Major Donald MacLeod, and the HLI Crossing the Rhine, composed by Pipe Major Donald Shaw Ramsey.